Welcome back everybody to another brand new video where we would usually be continuing on with our Corsa build for Dream Car giveaway, but they keep sending me other cars to work on, so I'm not getting the chance to get on this and get it done. So let's go and have a look at the next car they sent me. Which is a 1979 Porsche 911, but this one's different. It's got a 3.8 RS engine in it, pushing over 300 horse. Bet this thing goes like stink. To accompany that massive engine, we've now got a 5-speed gearbox with a limited slip diff. We've got some absolutely huge Brembo brakes off a newer 911. I think it was a 964. We got coilovers as well. So as always, they give me a list to do along with a check over. So let's get cracking with the first one, which is the most horrible job, the wiring loom. So let's have a look inside, shall we? And see what we're up against. I'll tell you what, fair play. For a 44-year-old car, that ain't bad. The only thing about this interior that worries me, we've got an aftermarket stereo. These two here, media and phone. Now they usually come with 6-foot extra long microphone cable and obviously USB cables and all that lot. So let's have a look under this dash and see if it's been tied up nice or it's just curled up with a cable tie. So let's have a look. Grab the trusty torch. Let's have a look what we're in for. Oh, there it is. There's our cable tie holding the wires up. Oh, there's another one there. Look at all this. Look at what you get. It's just a mess there, you know what I mean? It's up out of the way, so you ain't going to kick it, but somebody sticks their head under this. It's a bit of a... Where does that go? That goes off that way somewhere, and this down here, it just all needs tidying up. This big thick wire goes up here into this glove box, so let's have a look at that, shall we? Yeah, that wire comes up and goes into here. Yeah, that is not very well done. It's not really the kind of wiring you want to see on an £85,000 Porsche. It needs to be all neater. I think I'm going to take this glove box out, run it up behind there, nicely out of the way, and then try and sort this USB port out so it just sits nicer. You know, opening the glove box and seeing that, it's not great. So let's crack on. Okay, fast forward about an hour. I've got the glove box off in the lower part of the dash, and I've undone all the zip ties and dropped that wiring down. Let me show you what I found. So we can see now the microphone wire hanging down here. I mean, you can't cut this and shorten it, so it's got to go somewhere, but I'd prefer it, you know, out the way where you can't see it really, rather than just cord up with a cable tie. There's our USB, which I'll pop a hole in the back of the glove box and then, yeah, hide the wiring above the glove box so you can't see that. It's not going to fall down. And then we just got the other wiring, like the speakers. That's too long, and a couple of other bits. It's just a bit of a mess. There's lots there we can shorten and make neater, but the best bit is actually the other side, so let's go and have a look at that. So again, on this side I've cut all the cable ties and tape, and you can kind of see what we're dealing with. We've got just wires that are cut off, a lot of stuff that can be shortened, but my personal favourite is this. So this is the alarm in and out for the starter motor, where it comes out from the key. You can't quite see it. There's another connector right up here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 on this wire, and then where it goes to the alarm and comes back, we've got another 1, 2, 3, and there's one up there as well. 8 connectors in a circuit in the space of 6 inches. Awesome, that is. So with this wiring, I never want to upset previous owners of the car, you know. It was all tied up and it was insulated. and it probably would have lasted for years. Stuff like that wire with the 8 connectors, it's 8 different places where the wiring loom could fail, or if it gets a loose connection, you get heat. The heat then heats up, and then you get a, you know, a worse consequence with that. It's just me. I like to run things neat, and we're going to probably forward on about 5 hours now, or 6 hours, and we should get this done. So let's crack on.
6 hours later.
And if by magic we're back and it's all done, I would film it, but 5 hours of me with my shoes off upside down in this, it gets a bit tight in there to get a camera. I've cut all these bits out. I found quite a few of them in the end, where it's a solder joint, you've got an inch, a solder joint, another inch, another solder, you know. So cut it out, cut lots out. Let's have a look. And there we go. I mean, if anybody sticks their head under this dash now, there's no massive, horrible cluster of wires with a cable tie on it. What I've done, I've gone behind the glove box, and that's where the DAB aerial is. Hidden all the wires up there, out the way where they're nice and safe. And also that USB goes up through the back. Let's just pop the glove box open. There we go. Comes out of the back. It's nice and secure. Just looks much better, doesn't it? So another big job out the way, and on with the next one, which is pulling to the left. So when the guys at Dream Car Giveaway dropped this Porsche over, they told me that it's always slightly trying to pull to the left, and then when you put your foot on the brake, it pulls to the left a bit more. So I've been doing the wiring loom, you know, back and forwards, and I've noticed that the car just doesn't sit nice. I don't know if you can see, but this side looks like it's slightly down, like this wing looks slightly lower than that side, and it's leaning a bit. So it's got coilovers in and obviously stuff beds in, so maybe it's dropped slightly, so we need to measure that. The other thing, I just don't like these wheels. Let's move around to the other side and I'll show you. So the first thing I don't like is definitely these front tyres. They're just too chunky. There's too much tyre in that arch, and I think it needs to be a smaller profile. The second, I just don't like the wheels. You know, on a Porsche with a wide rear end, you want a massive dish on the rear and a little one on the front. At the moment, they're pretty much the same. Just looks a bit boring to me, really. And then the third thing is, it's got these massive brakes on, and what they've done, they've stuck huge, it's probably 1.5 inch spacers on the rear and like 1/2 inch spacers on the front. To me, I think we should just get a proper set of wheels that will fit without spacers, and then jobs are good. But first up, let's go and get the tape measure, and let's measure our arch clearance and see where the car's sitting. So let's crack on. So even though this is an old cow shed, the floor is actually remarkably level, which is good. Let's get our ruler there. Let's have a look. So driver's front, we've got 655 mil, which is about 25 3/4 inches. And then this side rear, 645 mil, which is 25.5. I mean, the arches are a different sort of shape, so you can have a bit of difference on the back. Right, around the other side, the side that looks lower, 620 mil, which is 24.5 inches. So that's 1/2 inch difference. No, it's 1 inch difference on the back. And then on the front, we've got 635 mil, which is 25 inches. Yeah, so that means we've got a full inch difference on the back, passenger to driver's side, and we've got a 3/4 inch drop that way as well. So yeah, the car is kind of leaning, well, no, it's leaning backwards like that, so that's why it looks a bit weird. So let's get it up, let's get all the wheels off, and let's do this properly by measuring the threads on the coilovers. I think I'm going to go with that side, to be honest. Just want to get it as low as I can without it being horrible to drive. Makes it look better, doesn't it? So let's crack on. Well, that was a bit of a nightmare. It's just took hours to get the wheels off. So apparently the previous owner lost the locking wheel nut key. So it's got aluminium wheel nuts on this. Hammering on, you know, the easy out tool like you usually do, because they're so soft, it just ripped the end off. And also they were done up to like 6 million Newton meters, which didn't help at all. So here's the wheel nuts. I had to actually bore grind them down so they were like a shaft to smack my 17mm socket on it. Got 2 of them off, and then it actually wore the teeth out on my socket, so I had to cut the end off my socket. So I had new fresh teeth to grip into the others. What a nightmare. Anyway, they're off. So that's another thing we've got to order, is a set of lockers. Here we can actually see those spacers, which we've got to get rid of. They don't look great, so I'm going to go up in a minute and order some wheels that look nicer and clear these brakes without spacers on, because it's an £85,000 car. We don't want spacers, we want it sitting nice and looking good too. Right, let's get the trusty ruler. So this side, measuring the coilovers, I just banged my head on the arch, is 72mm, and then when we go around the other side, we are 106mm down to that bottom thread. So the easy thing here is just get my C-spanner, undo this lock nut and wind it down so it's matching that 72, and then do it back up. Job's a good one. That's the front sorted. So now the front's done, we're gonna rinse and repeat on the back. So let's give it a measure. This side is the side I want to stick with. That is 227. Let's go around the other side and have a look. And round the other side we are 243. So it's not as much of a difference on the back. So again, let's wind that coilover down, get it matching, and then job's a good one. So other jobs I had to do on the 911 were an oil and filter change. Dream car giveaways didn't know the last time it was done, so they got me in genuine from Porsche oil and an oil filter, and I drained all 10 litres out of it. Just have a look how black that is. So filling it up is a bit of a pain because it's a dry sump basically. So the tank is right in the corner. I have to get a funnel to do it. All good though, job's a good one. Next up, while I was doing the oil and filter change, I noticed that the engine lid on this very expensive Porsche, when you opened it, wouldn't stay up on its own. And there was this plastic tube type thing that is used to keep that engine cover up. Now that looks terrible. Deep in the depths of the engine bay at the back there, there is a gas strut that should do its job. I removed that and ordered a universal one that's the same length of 250mm. I had to then, because it didn't come with the ends, it's only got the little threads on it, I had to then machine some pieces of aluminium up, drill the holes, tap the threads, and get them so they looked absolutely identical. Job's a good one. I've fitted it. Now you can lift that engine cover up with one finger and it stays there. Time to get rid of that old piece of plastic pipe. Also, while checking the car over, I noticed that one of the headlights was much darker than the other. So I popped it out, and somebody had fitted these Cree LED side light bulbs in it. The way that it sits in this headlight, the headlight bulb, which is again a Cree one, sits just above, very close to that side light bulb, and it's absolutely mounted it. And that's what the black was inside the headlight. This LED had actually been on fire, which is definitely no good. So new bulbs in there, I've cleaned it up, looks the part. Let's go and have a look at the car, shall we? And there we go. That looks much better, doesn't it? So with the wheels, I went for the same design, but instead of having the spokes in silver, left them all in black, and then it zooms your eyes straight to that massive dish on the back. It's gone from looking like something you could potter about in classic to a proper race car, which is what I wanted. And then lowering it, mainly this side really, has brought it down nice. That front bumper and the car sits now evenly, and it looks like a Porsche should. So I went on road testing it, and it no longer pulls to the left, which is good, and under braking. So the car is all ready to go back to Dream Car giveaways now. So if you follow them on Facebook, you'll see when this comes up for grabs. So good luck if you buy a ticket. It's a beautiful car. So that's it for this one. I'll see you on the next time. Ta-da.